Good afternoon, everybody. I've been out here all morning cleaning up because we did a lot of fabrication lately. We got the motor mounts done on the MR2. My buddy Kenny came down with his MR2 Spider and we did a bunch of fabrication on that. So I'm actually going to switch gears and I want to put out some videos on my rat rod. So today I'm going to go over what this thing is, how it's come about. I'm going to hopefully bring in like a slideshow or some pictures of this thing as it's evolved, because I've been building this before I was making videos. So the last thing I did on this right before I started making videos is I made these headers. So let's talk about what this thing is. So this is a 1940-ish Ford cab that I got for free from my buddy Gary. The bed is I believe a 50s Ford bed. I like them like this because they fit better. You know, they're as wide as the cab is. You get like a 40s bed. It's narrow. Anyways, so this is a 50s, I believe a 50s Ford bed. I got this I think for $100. We chopped a few inches out of it here to bring it in, but I wanted to still have a decent bed on this thing, so I left it kind of long because I want to be able to, like, I don't know, throw a mini bike or something in the back of it, or just be able to actually use it for stuff. Well, not for like hauling trash to the dump or anything, but you know what I mean. So the frame itself was another freebie. My friend Gary also hooked me up with this other guy who was giving away this 1934 Chevy truck frame. So that's what this is, and I'll throw up some pictures, but I basically boxed the entire thing. You can see the boxing here and here. I boxed the entire thing front to back. I added in that little section on the rear. We got a huge Z here. I think it's at least 12 inches. And then we got a little kick up here in the front. That's another, I want to say 6 inches. So that's the frame, the body, or the cab, and the bed. The grill is a 1934 as well, International truck grill. This one I actually paid some pretty decent money for off eBay. This is a 1932 through 34 Chevy emblem there. Let's see what else we got. Drivetrain. Drivetrain is from a 1986 Ford Crown Vic. We had this in one of our Gambler cars. Same with the transmission. It's an AOD out of the same Crown Vic. I took this motor. It was a good running motor. I took it down. I put cheap eBay heads, aluminum heads on it. I found a used tunnel ram and with the carbs. I got a used Mallory distributor. Like I told you earlier, I built the headers from a kit from Hell's Gate Hot Rods, I think is what it's called, but they make header flanges and header kits and stuff. Radiator is just a radiator that I found that fit inside the shroud. I made a a custom fan shroud for it. It's got electric fan. Oh, drivetrain. So AOD transmission, the drive shaft from the Ford, and then it's been cut down and adapted with a U-joint to fit this 1960s Chevy 12-bolt truck rear end. It's got a 411 and a posi, so this thing should scoop pretty good, but it's also got the overdrive on the AOD, which will help us with highway cruising. So what I did here was I built my own truck arms. So if you're familiar with the 60s and 70s trucks, they have these truck arms that run up to the frame, and then it has a panhard bar that runs across the back. So I built my own truck arms. I bought a C10 kit for got the panhard bar mount there. I got the panhard bar, and then I bought another bracket to mount the panhard here. So it was a super simple, easy way, very effective. It's a good suspension. And then we got some used coilovers. When I bought them from the swap meet, the guy said they came out of like a Cobra kit car type thing. So those are in the back. Fuel tank, fuel cell, I built it all myself. It's 20 gallons. It might even be like 22 gallons. So we'll have good range. Actually, these fuel lines are used. The pump, the filter, that's all stuff, swap meet stuff. I'm trying to keep this thing under some sort of a budget, or, you know, where I can. Fuel line, I don't know if I'm going to keep that, but it's like some Earl's hose or something. It runs in here and up the firewall. Oh yeah, battery mount. This is our battery box back here. I built that. It's going to fit under the bed. There's going to be wood here running this way across the bed and up and over, and then this is actually, this old cooler is going to sit right here, and it will have basically like an access panel where I can go inside the cooler and undo a couple of wing nuts. Oh, there's a possibilities of tail lights for it. Haven't decided yet, but we can go in here with some wing nuts and undo it and pull it off and get access to the battery. But it also provides us with some storage for tools and stuff. And look, this thing even has the ice pick and the bottle opener. It's an old Little Brown chest. Illinois, made in Illinois. So I thought this was a cool piece. So that will cover up the battery, and that'll lift up, give us some storage. And then I can also throw, you know, a mini bike or motorcycle or something in here sideways if I want to. Mini bike probably just fits straight in. So I want to incorporate some tie downs because, like I said, I want to be able to use this thing. So the tape lines you're seeing are cut lines because we're going to chop this top. I believe I got 5 inches here that's going to come out. And the reason it's like this is because I don't want to take the 5 inches out of the window because there'd be no window left. So I'm taking 3 inches out of here and 2 inches out of down here. So that way, you know, we still have some semblance of a window there. What else? Ratchet shifter. That's mounted in there. Other things I got going on in here. 57. Oh, I see there's a spot that I need to fill in. 57-ish. I think it's 55, 56, and 57 dash or gauge cluster. Individual gauges. So this is basically going to act as, I mean, I'll hook everything up, but this is going to act as a speedo and the gas, basically the fuel level, hopefully. So that's what I want to work on there. And then we got our 3 gauges. This is the original glove box. Put that in there. This ashtray was in the middle, but I didn't want to lose it because I thought it was cool. So I went ahead and popped a new hole in here. And I made this little brass knob for it. Tack's hidden up there. So no one's going to really see it unless you're sitting in it or if you really come down. My buddy Scott gave that to me. So I was like, yeah, I'll use that. So that's all of our gauges, real cheap. I mean, I bought this at the swap meet for 20 bucks, I think. And then these online, they're labeled as like tractor gauges. So these were like another 20 bucks. So, and then that was free. So gauges, I'm in like $40. The transmission was expensive because we needed to have this rebuilt for our Gambler car. So I put about 1,500 bucks into it, and it's got a lot of stuff done to it. It's got a fully different valve body, and what else has it got? It's got a little bit of stall torque converter. It's got some decent parts in it. Over there, that is our brake master cylinder mounted to the floor there. And then the master cylinders, dual master cylinders, you get to from the outside. So that's a pretty good spot for that. We still need to do steering in here. We need to do the floors. I need to finish the trans tunnel, which is actually what I'm going to work on next, is getting this trans tunnel done. I mean, so, what else? What did we cover here? So the wheels are like a military style steel wheel, an old military style steel wheel, 6-lug. And that's one of the reasons why I chose I got a really good deal on this rear end. So I'm like, okay, I got a good deal on these wheels. They're 6-lug. I can find, you know, an old Chevy truck axle for cheap. So I did. And the problem that I'm having is in the front, I need to, I haven't talked about the front end yet. So the front end is, I believe it's a 5-inch drop. Could be a 6-inch drop. Speedway axle, just a tube axle. And some, basically the shortest QA1 coilovers that you can get. Now this is probably going to be brought up a little bit, so we end up with some more suspension travel, but I mean, it has some right now. Hairpin mounts, super simple Speedway stuff again. And same with the brakes. The brakes are like a Ford Mustang 2, spindle and everything. But that's where I'm having the problem, is I need to get a different rotor. I want to get a 6-lug rotor, because right now, if you see, I'm actually running an adapter that adapts from 5 on 4.5 to 6 on 5.5, and it doesn't look good, and it's dangerous, I think. So, and I want to get a bigger rotor, because I got a 17. This is a 17-inch wheel. So I'm going to find a bigger rotor, and I think that this caliper will probably work for what we find, hopefully. They have a 6-lug conversion rotor for like old C10 trucks. So that's what I'm going to get, and I'm going to figure out a way to make the bearings and stuff work in there. And we'll end up with a bigger rotor and 6-lug without an adapter. So that's pretty much it. You know, there's a lot of little stuff, like all this linkage and stuff. That was a huge pain. And you know, I had to get, especially since I have the AOD transmission, I had to get a special kickdown cable for that, or a throttle body cable, or whatever you want to call it, throttle valve cable. Mounts are custom built by me. Some 1-inch, basically, round tubing. That one's got a nice bend in it, and then it's got a support that goes across the bottom. Polyurethane bushings. Same with the transmission. It's got some polyurethane bushings in that mount. What else? Oh yeah, the substructure here. So I built these. This isn't the actual seat that's going to sit in here, but it's probably pretty close to representative of the size that it needs to be. So I built these. I built this whole structure to kind of stiffen the frame rails, because if you look at a lot of high-end chassis, they kind of have this kind of deal going on it. And then it's got a driveline loop built into that for racing, and then these basically come, that's a driveline loop as well, because it runs across the bottom there. So if we break a driveline in this thing, it's probably not going to go anywhere. But let's see what's on our list here. As you can see, I actually have a lot of stuff crossed off here. So we got sheet metal floor. That is what I'm going to work on now. Roll cage will come after the top is chopped. I still need to get the steering box and start working on that. We have 0 steering right now. We got to chop the top, finish weld the frame. That's after all this other stuff is done and we pull the body off of this thing again. We'll finish weld the frame all up. Wiring and bed floor. Yeah, that's coming up later too. So, but we're working on it. You know, we got plumbing actually. So fuel plumbing is plumbed all the way back to the tank. Radiator, I believe, is 100% plumbed at this point. I got to get a cap for that. Yep, radiator's plumbed. So we got fuel. We got coolant. So I think that's actually all the plumbing this thing is gonna need. These are pretty classic steering wheels. I always love the wood ones. I took this one and I put a whole bunch of linseed oil on it. Probably needs another run with the linseed oil, but this is gonna be the steering wheel for this thing. It'll probably sit in there somewhere like that. What else? This is going to be my gas cap, or the cover for the gas cap. So when the wood bed's in here, this will be on here. And then you'll flip it open to get to the gas cap. So I thought that was a super cool piece. Athens, New York, Imperial Lifeboat and David Company. So that's a cool piece. Oh, we do have a wiring harness. It is a cheap one. I think it's only a handful of circuits, like 12 circuits, I think. So we got that. I got this cool little, it's an old first aid kit box. So I'm going to incorporate this into the build somewhere, and it'll probably sit like this on the wall. You know, it'll be bolted somewhere like that, and then it'll open. But you know, I thought that was a cool, what is that, Bullard First Aid. So thought that was a cool piece. Oh yeah, so my buddy Chris, we did his bus build, and this is wiring from his bus. So you know, whatever the wiring harness is going to cover, because I don't think those wires are all that long. We got plenty of good used wire from Chris. Another cool piece we got that we need to work on mounting for is these headlights. Got the second one here. Doesn't have the same paint on it, but that's fine. It'll look cool. So we got those headlights, got a matching pair. I was thinking about using the mounts from, oh, this is an old fog light. I don't know if we'll use that one or not, but I was going to use the mounts, I think, from these old fog lights, and figure out a way to make those work for this. We'll see, you know, that's all up in the air right now. Yeah, so you're gonna see this on some upcoming episodes. We're gonna get to work on this transmission tunnel and this floor, and then maybe we'll swap back over to the MR2 and do some stuff on that. All right, so that's it for the intro to the Rat Rod. I hope you guys are excited to see some progress on this thing. I've been working on this thing for, my son's almost 4, so about 4 years now. And that's a long time for a car for me. Usually I turn out cars in, you know, 6 months. But this one's kind of special. There's a ton of work. I mean, it's ground up, so it takes a long time. And, you know, life and stuff and other projects. So hoping to get this thing done this year, or at least on the road this year. I mean, most of these projects I've never done, so. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.